All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a really fundamental shift in medical AI. Seriously, we're moving way past the simple tools you might be used to and into a new era where AI acts as an active, almost autonomous partner for doctors and nurses.
And this quote right here, it really frames the whole conversation perfectly. See, this isn't a story about AI replacing doctors, not at all. It's about AI elevating them. It's about changing their role from just gathering data to becoming expert managers of these incredibly powerful AI-driven care systems.
So what is this big shift, really? Well, it's the move from what we call passive AI to agentic AI. Think of it this way. A passive AI is kind of like a chatbot or a really smart search engine. You ask a question, it gives you an answer. It provides information. But an agentic AI, that's your co-pilot. It doesn't just give you info, it takes action. It actually executes tasks to help you get the job done.
Okay, so what does this new kind of AI actually look like in the real world? Let's get into the tech that's making all of this possible, and we'll start with a brand new model that's making waves. It's called MedGemma.
Now, that might sound like a mouthful, but trust me, every word there is super important. MedGemma is a foundation model, which you can think of as this powerful, really adaptable AI brain that can be trained and customized for a ton of different jobs. And most importantly, it's been specifically designed to solve healthcare's two biggest headaches: privacy and data security.
So let's break down what makes it so special. First, it's multimodal. We'll talk about what that means in a second. It's open weight, which means hospitals can actually tweak it for their own needs. That also means it can be incredibly secure, because it can run locally, right there on a hospital's own servers, keeping all that sensitive patient data safe. And the kicker? It does all this while performing just as well as the big, closed-source models you hear about.
So what does multimodal actually mean when you're in the clinic? Well, it means the AI isn't just reading text from a patient's chart. It's doing that, sure, but it's also looking at the X-ray, analyzing the lab results, and reading the doctor's notes, all at the same time. It sees the whole clinical picture at once.
And this open weight idea? Oh, this is a total game changer for healthcare. It means the hospital can take this AI model and run it on its own servers, behind its own firewall. Patient data never has to leave the building. For data security and for things like HIPAA compliance, that is a massive, massive step forward. So we've got the tech, but how does something like this actually go from lines of code to making a difference in the clinic? Let's take a look at how it's already changing the way patient care gets delivered.
Now, here's a number that should make every single clinician out there sit up and pay attention. Some studies are suggesting that agentic AI could slash the time spent on documentation by up to 75%. I mean, think about that. That's not just a tiny bit more efficient. That is a huge amount of time given back to doctors and nurses, time they can spend with patients, leading to better focus and a higher standard of care.
And this is how we get to that 75% number. The applications are all over the place. We're talking about ambient scribes that just listen to a doctor-patient conversation and automatically write the clinical notes. We're talking about AI that can whip up a full literature review with citations in minutes. It can even help draft grant proposals or automatically fight insurance denials. This is a full-on assault on the administrative paperwork that bogs down healthcare.
And hey, this isn't just a futuristic concept. It's happening right now. Companies like Abridge and DeepScribe are already in the market, using these agentic systems to take those messy, natural, back-and-forth patient conversations and turn them into the clean, structured soap notes that have to go into the medical records.
This is what makes it agentic. It's not just doing one little thing. It's running a whole workflow. It takes a new lab result, automatically goes and finds the patient's past X-rays to get some context, and then puts it all together to create a draft summary for the doctor to review. See? It's an active assistant, not just a passive tool. We're also seeing a huge shift in diagnostics. The FDA just recently cleared the first AI that can check for 11 different acute problems on an abdomen CT scan, all at the same time, in one go. This means we're moving away from AI that just looks for one thing at a time to these unified systems that give a much more complete picture, way faster. So we've seen the tech, we've seen what it can do, but what does all of this mean for the actual clinicians on the front lines? Well, their role is definitely about to change, and in a pretty big way.
Of course, with this much power, there are going to be risks. It can't all be good news, right? We absolutely cannot talk about how amazing these systems are without also looking at the potential dangers.
There are really three major challenges we have to keep our eyes on. The first is hallucinations, which is when the AI confidently makes up medical information that is just plain wrong. Second, algorithmic bias. The AI can inherit and sometimes even amplify biases found in the data it learned from.
And third, there's the very real risk of deskilling, where we become so reliant on the AI that our own clinical skills could start to fade.
So what's the main defense against all these risks? It's a concept called human in the loop. This has to be the new professional standard. You have to treat every single thing the AI produces, a note, a summary, a diagnostic idea, as a first draft. A draft that absolutely requires an expert human to verify it and make the final call.
And this really brings us to the heart of how the doctor's role is evolving. It's shifting away from being a walking encyclopedia of medical facts and toward being a skilled manager of these complex, intelligent systems, applying wisdom, ethics, and oversight where it matters most.
The future of medicine, honestly, it's already starting to arrive, and the guiding principle for every single person working in it has to be this: trust, but verify. And let's be perfectly clear about this. AI in the clinic isn't some cool new toy or a side project anymore. It is rapidly becoming a core piece of medical infrastructure, as fundamental as the electronic health record system itself. And that ushers in a whole new set of professional responsibilities. Clinicians have to understand what these models can and can't do. They have to verify their work every time. They have to ethically manage how AI is used in patient care. And they have to make sure patients give their informed consent whenever AI is playing a big role in their treatment.
So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. The AI is becoming an incredible co-pilot, there's no doubt about it. But the human clinician, they must always, always remain the captain of the ship, with the final accountability for the patient's care and well-being.